Hi guys, this is Sharkman, and I'm back after a couple months of not playing or recording. Actually, I was playing, but I wasn't recording. I won my Human Wizard game. The reason why I stopped recording it was because my computer was reimaged, and the video that I had on it, I forgot to take it off and save it somewhere else. So I decided just to keep playing it, and I did end up winning, which was very nice. Since then, I've won about 30 games, and I'm currently on a streak, so that's exciting. And now I'm going to play a Draconian transmuter for funsies. And because I've only won maybe 2 transmuters before, so it's going to be interesting. So I'm playing on 0.16. This version's actually like finalized now. So there are this version's finalized. Okay, so I'm not playing Trunk anymore, so there's not going to be any weird changes. Okay, so Draconians are a species that's kind of similar to Demon Spawn. They get a color which defines some of their aptitudes, but doesn't define them in a huge manner, just in a small way. And transmuters primarily use unarmed combat and different kinds of forms which change you into different creatures. Draconians don't wear body armor, so they can't wear chainmail or ringmail like here or robes or anything. To compensate, they have 4 armor class innately, and they gain 1 additional one at every 3rd level. I really, really want to win this game because I've never gotten more than 3 wins on a streak, so it would be nice to keep that going. So right now, because I'm only level 2 now, I'm trying to fight enemies one at a time, backing away if they're shouting, stuff like that. Now that I'm level 2, I'll learn Sticks to Snakes, which is a transmutation spell that basically turns an arrow into a kind of a snake. And depending on your transmutation, or the spell power, and what kind of arrows you get different snakes. I think that's right, but I'm not completely sure because, like I said before, I'm not too experienced with transmuters. So the fun thing about unarmed combat is that it takes a lot of investment, but can be completely and totally ridiculous in terms of damage. I've said in an earlier video that what you want to care about is base damages, and the base damage of unarmed combat increases as you gain more levels in it. So it starts off as 3 plus however many ranks in unarmed combat you have. So right now I've basically got a base damage of 7, so I'm basically swinging a spear? No, spears are base damage 6. A hand axe, I think, with my fists. And they have also a shorter delay than other weapons. So it starts at 1, and then for every 5.4 skill ranks, it decreases another 0.1 turns. So I'm going to increase dex because Draconians and melee fighters are going to need dex. And that helps increase the chances of offhand attacks or auxiliary attacks. Draconians also get slowed if they get hit by a cold attack temporarily, which is pretty harmful if you don't have in the wrong situation. So there's a snake. I'm going to put an exclusion on it because I don't think I can beat it. Now for deity choice, I think I'm probably going to go with Okuwaru because his heroism boost is absolutely wonderful on unarmed combat users. So, wow, okay, so Jessica did me a huge amount of damage in a single turn, which I was not expecting, and that was really dangerous. But I did okay, so there's the snake. Draconians get a stat boost every 4 levels, and it can be strength, dex, or intelligence. Sometimes that's not as strength isn't usually like super useful on Draconians because the main draw of strength is reducing penalties from armor, but it's not a big deal, like not at all. So I found an altar to Okuwaru. That's very exciting actually to find it so early. And that worm did me a lot of damage, which was a little bit surprising. Okuwaru doesn't require you to sacrifice corpses any longer. That's a nice perk now. I think I'm going to train my unarmed combat to about 8, and then start thinking about getting some of my forms online. I'm going to learn Spider Form because it gives good evasion and a poison branded attack. It also gives you vulnerability to poison, which is pretty bad. So I don't think it's not necessarily a great idea to use it against poisonous creatures. But Draconians also can't wear helmets, so they're stuck with hats, boots, cloaks, and gloves, and a shield. But I'm not sure if I want to use a shield if I'm an unarmed user because you get offhand attacks, which actually add quite a bit to damage once you have a reasonably high unarmed combat. Draconians also have plus 10% hit points per level, so they end up being a pretty high health race, and I don't think I can fight an Orc Priest, at least not at the back of all those orcs. So I'm going to try to cast Spider Form and kill him. And it worked, so I think about 2 more levels of unarmed combat, and then I'll start training some fighting, dodging, and transmutations. Because fighting will give me health and improve my damage even more, and transmutations will allow me to get my forms online. Orc Wizard. I don't know how many other orcs are there, so if at all possible, I'd like to take them down one at a time, but that didn't happen. It's a good idea to treat an orc you see with the possibility that there'll be 1 or more orc priests. I've had times where I see a single orc and 3 orc priests come into view. That was a very scary situation. I'm really invested. I really just want to win this game. This one, it'd be really cool to get to a 4-win streak. So that's what I'm hoping for. I really want to know if I have a Scroll of Remove Curse before I try on this jewelry, because if I get something like an Amulet of Inaccuracy or a Cursed Ring of Slaying, that's not something I want to. I want to be able to remove that. So once I find a scroll, once I have a stack of 2 of a scroll, then that's a good time to read it. I'm a little bit stilted because it's been a little while since I've been recording, so I'm sorry about that. And hopefully I don't have the same like poor audio that I had when I first started doing my videos. So at level 7, I'll see what color Draconian I am. And it's a little bit exciting because there are some that I certainly like more than others. Like a red Draconian would be pretty nice. Purple would be pretty nice. Pale Draconian would be pretty nice. Gray would be good. Actually, most of them would be pretty good, but the only ones I really don't particularly want are yellow or green. Green is nice because you get poison resist, but also your breath weapon isn't super great. But you do get a bonus to poison magic and no penalties, so I think I can take this ogre if I'm in spider form. And I am a white draconian. Okay, I don't particularly like white draconians. I feel like they don't really give you much. So that's unfortunate, but I need to, I'm gonna roll with it because, oh man. It was a good thing I waited until I found a scroll of remove curse, because three of the jewelry I have are cursed, and it was exactly what I didn't want, Amulet of Inaccuracy. So on the bright side, I do have a +6 Dex ring and a See Invisible ring. So I'm going to turn Unarmed Combat off. Then I'm going to start training some transmutations, fighting, and dodging. I also should start training a little bit of invocations, just enough so HuWz's heroism has a good success rate. Also, white draconians, they get 1 rank of resist cold, so the bad mutation, the one that slows you when hit with cold damage, no longer applies to me, which is nice. If you have claws, your unarmed base damage is stronger. The more levels of claws you have, the stronger it is. Each level of claws adds 2 to the base damage. So trolls start with a base damage of 9 on their unarmed combat. So that's why it's usually a pretty good idea to go unarmed on a troll. I don't know how, I can't really gauge how powerful the Draconian breath weapon is. Not particularly sure on that one. I memorize Stone Skin because it gives some armor, and since I'm training transmutations, I think it'd be pretty worth it. A +0 Lajatang. That's a rather strong weapon, but I think I'll just buy some potions and scrolls instead. +5 ring of evasion. Alright, lucky finds this game. Would have been really bad if I had both that cursed ring of teleportation and amulet of inaccuracy on. Found some scroll of identify. I'm going to identify my potions. I'm almost positive that this stack of 6 silvery potions is curing. So I'm going to inscribe it as such because it's pretty likely, I'd say. So I'm near starving. I'm going to use some poison needles and try to get some food. And I've found pretty much every non-magical armor slot piece that would be useful to me. So I'm in pretty good shape right now. I think I'll train invocations up just enough to get heroism at like 1 or 2%. And apparently all I need is 1 level in invocations. Oh, I'm almost at 2. Okay, that's why. Yeah, that's probably enough. I'm considering not training dodging for a little while because I have a +5 ring of evasion. So I can hold back on that one, I guess. I have found there's a Bailey on this level, and I grew a pair of antennae from the beneficial mutation. In a lot of cases, I would be slightly annoyed by a pair of antennae or small horns because they disable helmet slots. But since I can't wear helmets as a draconian, it's no big deal. I am a little bit worried about this orc warrior, but I should be able to kill him with poison needles, and I was, so that's cool. This amulet of regeneration is nice. I'm gonna want to wear that. Is there a way? I should check if there's an amulet of faith because that would be really good. Nope. I'm gonna turn on heroism here just so I can try to do well this encounter. I'm definitely closer to the portcullis, but I don't know where it is exactly. Nope. Hopefully I can find a scroll of magic mapping. Now because I'm an unarmed, there it is. Because I'm an unarmed fighter, I don't really need what don't I need? I don't really need enchant weapon scrolls because I'm not going to have a weapon to enchant. So I wanted to enchant my blowgun because that's the only weapon that I conceivably need. I can't say I particularly like this this Bailey layout because it has orcs with crossbows, and seeing as I'm a melee fighter primarily, it's probably going to lead to some painful experiences. Ouch, that hurts. Alright, that should be enough to kill those. Oh wow, this is really tragic. Oh yeah, so basically what happens is that there are all these teleport traps. They're permanent teleport traps at the center of these little structures, and there's 4 of them. And there's orcs with crossbows, and so they're all gonna shoot at. They're gonna teleport around and shoot at me, or teleport into the other part of the, because they're trapped by deep water. Oh man. I suppose I could learn Ice Form to cross the water if need be and grab my needles, but I don't know if actually yeah, that'd be pretty good because I'm running low and I'll be able to use the needles on the enemies in the main structure. So right now I'm trying to keep enemies at the very edge of line of sight and just kite away. And I'm excuse me. Alright, hit level 9, got Poison Tomahawks, I don't know how useful that is. I'm going to memorize Ice Form and start training some Ice Magic. Man, even on regular orcs they hurt. Okay, so I hope that is all of those orcs. I'm going to place an exclusion on there and see if I can get at my other excuse me, at my other needles. And I've got a little bit, I got about a 40% miscast chance, and I can't seem to succeed in casting Ice Form. Okay, I picked up 9 needles or so. I think that was pretty worth it. I'm using Ice Form to cross the... Shoot. To cross the deep water. I'm not now, but... So, I don't want to wield these... I don't want... Sorry. I don't want to wield the blowgun while I'm fighting these guys, because kiting is not how I'm going to kill these enemies probably. Maybe it is, I don't know. I guess I'll probably just try to use heroism for each one of these enemies because it certainly is a little worrisome, these guys. Alright, so I had a huge evasion there because of heroism, high dex, the evasion ring, and spider form. So I was able to complete this, beat this Bailey with relative. Oh shoot, sorry, never mind. There's still an enemy here. Okay, well now I did it. I got an enchant armor scroll, or 2 enchant armor scrolls. So now these scrolls aren't as useful. No, they are useful. But the thing is, I feel fine using them on auxiliary slots because I'm not going to get any dragon armor to wear because I'm already a dragon. So I found a manual of shields. I still don't know if that means I should use shields for certain. That's the problem with not being too experienced with unarmed combat and transmuters. So I think I can train some dodging and fighting now. I'm a little worried about this vault. But it will probably be fine. So basically, the goal of a transmuter, I guess, is to get unarmed combat pretty high, get transmutations high enough to get blade hands castable, and then kill everything with blade hands because blade hands is ridiculously strong. So mm, sometimes I forget that I have a breath weapon, and it can be useful. I think I'll just flee, live to fight another day, and maybe not. Okay. What's nice about Ice Form is it also gives you poison resist, so if you don't have poison resist and you need to eat some poisonous chunks, you can use Ice Form to eat it. Ice Form's base damage is also stronger, I believe, than Bare Fists, so it also does freezing damage on top of that, so Ice Form can do quite a bit of damage. It also boosts your health by by 20%, and might lower your other defenses though. So yeah, my AC and evasion I think have taken a hit, but you know, yeah, 11, 20 versus 6 and 18 or 17. So Ice Form definitely reduces your defenses most of the time. This is fun. I like playing transmuters, even though I don't really have too much experience with them. Maybe I should train more unarmed combat. Become like the slayer of stuff. I found out something kind of funny, that depending on your weapon type you use, you will have different messages when you kill stuff. Like that's something you'll see, like if you use a dagger and something, you'll like stab them versus when with another item, with like a bludgeoning weapon, you'll like whack them. But I had a Vinestalker monk that was really good at unarmed combat, and what happened to him was he attacked an insect enemy. It was like a killer bee or something, and it said you squish the killer bee like an ant, and so it gave me a message based on the enemy type, which I thought was interesting. But that's just that doesn't matter, not at all. Antenna will also let you see where enemies are in a limited radius, and then at rank 3, they give you see invisible. So Formicids start with 3rd rank antenna. I should really be more careful here. 2-headed ogres are like regular-headed ogres, 1-headed ogres, but they can output a fair bit more damage. So Prince Ribbit is a unique blink frog. He's got really high evasion. It's just, and he hits pretty hard. So I'm going to use Heroism and Spider Form, and hopefully I will be able to kill him. And I killed him with little difficulty, so what is there to talk about? Oh yeah, I learned that negative energy resist was changed actually a while ago, before, like a couple versions ago, that the 1st rank gives more protection from negative energy than the next 2, which I didn't know because, well, I don't know why I didn't know, but I didn't. So level 1 gives 50% resistance, level 2 gives 75%, and then the 3rd rank gives 100%. So negative energy resistance is better at 1 point than what I originally thought. Ah, I feel like I sound stilted. I probably am. So there's a hill giant. I think I can take him. I mean, just ridiculous evasion will help with that. These fuming red potions are probably bad. I don't know for certain by any means, but I imagine. Oh, I can't grow horns because I have antenna now. So beastly appendage is pretty much useless now. But I'll find a scroll of amnesia eventually. And amnesia that. So I found a Book of Air. There's a really good spell in here that I want, which is Repel Missiles. I don't particularly want any other ones. I will want to learn Flight because I always like learning Flight as a just-in-case spell. I've hit 5 ranks with HuWz, so that's kind of cool. Or 5 stars piety. I don't even use sticks to snakes at this point, so I might amnesia that too because I'm not even using it. I think I'll drop all these arrows because I really don't need them at this point. I also drank another potion of beneficial mutation that I found, and it turned out, and it gave me clarity, which is always nice. Now I don't need to worry about amulets of clarity. I just have enough now for, actually I had it a little while ago, but I have enough now to get a amulet of regeneration. So, a ring of protection from cold. I will keep the dexterity ring on because I already do have a rank of resist cold. So, yeah. Book of the Clouds is one of my favorite spell books because it has Conjure Flame and Freezing Cloud, two spells I really, really like. But I have a penalty to my fire magic aptitude, or I have a negative fire magic aptitude because I'm in Ice Draconian, White Draconian. So that's a bit of a bummer, but whatever. I'll still learn it. It's level 3, not a big deal. It's a level 3 spell. If I was trying to learn something like Fireball or Ring of Flames or something like that, that would be a much larger hassle. I feel like I'm getting a bit complacent. Might be a good idea to stop playing and take a break. That way I don't get too stupid. I don't do really stupid. I don't start doing stupid things. There we go. Also, since I have a bonus to Ice Magic, I might want to try to learn Freezing Cloud because that's just one of my favorite spells, and it'd be pretty useful on a guy like mine. So what I'm doing right now is I'm making huge mistakes and retreating into unknown territory. Then I found myself stuck in a dead end, so not what I wanted, but I came through it okay. The standard like progression through the game is you go through all of your dungeon, or sorry, not all of the dungeon. You go to dungeon level 12 about, then you go clear lair, then go try to clear orc, then finish the dungeon, and then you can start working on lair branches. But you want to try to do the easier places first so you can gain the experience. Weapon shop, not useful for me. Also, it would be nice to get like an armor shop maybe. I don't have... I don't want to use my Ice Form because that has fire vulnerability. I don't know if I want to use Spider Form because that tanks my AC. So I think I will just use Heroism and try to beat him to death. And I got him, so no big deal. It's important to note that the reason why you take Okuwaru is not for the gifts. You don't take him for the gifts that he gives you. There we go. It's better to take him for oh, you take him for heroism first and then finesse as well. I got some amnesia scrolls, so I'm going to forget both sticks to snakes and beastly appendage. So that leaves me with enough to take flight And I don't know if I want anything else. I think I'll learn I think I'll start training Conjure Flame so it's castable. So I can start using it. And that was actually kind of a stupid decision because I realized that I have a poison vulnerability up against those killer bees. So it was only because of my high evasion and high unarmed combat that I didn't get severely poisoned there. So all I can say is whoops. So I just miscast, and that gave me a fair bit of damage, which was unexpected. I think I want to use Heroism here. That's probably my best bet, rather than a particular form. And yeah, that was no problem. Pair of glowing gloves. Gloves of strength. Those aren't super useful, but you know, the 1 AC is always appreciated, and strength improves the chance of offhand attacks. There's an unseen horror here, so now that because I have antenna, I can at least see that there's an invisible creature. And since I have the ring, I can kill it no problem. That's a manticore. I am a little bit worried. Not so much now that it's in that flame cloud. Conjure flames at 14%. I think I want to get it down to about 10%. But I'm going to clear layer 12, or dungeon level 12, and then I think I will stop playing. Or at least stop this video. I mean, I'll come back to it, maybe tomorrow. So the reason why unarmed combat gets pretty ridiculous is that it starts getting to the point where the base damage on your unarmed attack is like is around like 30, or gets up to 30, and then plus any excuse me, forms that you may cast. Alright, so I got hit with barbs, so barbs hurt you if you move when you have them. So I wanted to move once just so I can be able to put them in the flame cloud. So everything's going okay. Found a food shop. Don't really need that. I think I'll try to close the gap. And I gained a new level. So I have a decent amount of health. I have a good unarmed damage. I'm getting my transmutations up so I can eventually cast Blade Hands. I need to learn Blade Hands. But Blade Hands is a very, very powerful spell. And the base damage on that is really high. Hey look, you can see it's a 20% increase by my health going from 100 to 120. That's kind of cool. Ice Form's better for taking down... Ice Form's better for taking down bees than Spider Form is by a long shot. And the Queen Bee will haste, or berserk her worker bees, so that's a little bit dangerous. Some forms make it harder for you to cast spells. Ice form, I don't think has that drawback. Let's see, so 61, 10%. Oops, miscast. 61, 10%. Yeah, ice form doesn't affect that, but spider form makes it harder to cast your spells, and blade hand makes it harder to cast your spells. I don't know if any other ones do. I'm not 100% positive. Okay, so I walked onto an alarm trap, which makes me marked, which makes me a little bit scared. So I was able to get out of that without anyone coming to bother me, so that's okay. Alright, so I've hit level 12. I've gotten some pretty nice items. I've got a good amount of unarmed combat, getting my transmutations up. Still going to consider using shields. Actually, I might use shields because when I'm in a form, the shield melds, and so then I can actually get like an offhand attack or whatever. And then when I'm not using a form, it'll be good for defense. So I think I will start training shields soon, but I'm going to wait until I have blade hands online before I do that. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope it was informative.